I'm going to go over washing the inside of the headlight lenses. A lot of people are surprised to hear that, it's not the same process as the external, the outside of the headlight. And we're going to go over different things and discuss how and what not to do, what to do. First of all, I'd like you to understand it's a very delicate process, and if you don't know what you're doing or you're inexperienced or you use the wrong products or the wrong cloth, you can easily damage the headlight lens further. So always assess if it's worth cleaning the inside of the headlight lens. If it's just a little mark or a little condensation drip, you might as well leave it as long as it's not going to drive you nuts. We wash probably majority of the headlight lenses that come through here, which I think people are surprised to hear because it's part of our all-inclusive service, and we are going to wash the inside lens because all headlights, they're not fully sealed up, they need to breathe, and you're going to want to remove some of the drip marks and condensation marks, and over time, just like your inside of your windshield on your car, it's going to require a little bit of cleaning after a few years. And obviously you're not going to take apart a good set of headlights, but while the lights are open, it's the perfect time to actually do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we always inspect the lens next to a light so we can see right through it. We're using a very bad example of somebody who did not seal their headlight lens well, so you can see all this condensation marks and haze. We're going to try to see if we can get that out. We use this cleaner, Dr. Bronner's South Suds cleaner. A few drops in a water bottle. We already have it ready to go. It's mostly water, and always start with the least abrasive method first. Don't go right to a hardcore polish or wet sanding, and people go through some crazy things. Always start slow and kind of with the least abrasive type of method. So this is a quick wash we're going to start out with, and then we're going to assess if we need to do anything further. Most likely this lens will probably require a fine polish on the inside. I doubt all this will come off, but this guide will be as kind of an entry-level lens cleaning scenario. So we're going to flip it upside down, and just like detailing or clay barring your car, you always want to keep it fully lubricated. So we pour in a good amount of solution. It doesn't exactly matter how much you use, as long as it's fully, covered as you're moving around the paper towel. We use regular paper towels. You can use other ones, lint-free ones, the blue shop towels, whatever you have. This works for us, and essentially you're just going to go through the inside of the headlight lens using all that lubrication, and you go around and you're kind of cleaning it. So you don't want to press too hard, but you're just kind of going in all the areas that the haze is on, and essentially you're covering the whole inside of the headlight, and you're kind of washing it out. So a lot of people are going to tell you not to touch it, or you're going to ruin it, or a paper towel is going to ruin it. It can cause more scratches if there's not proper lubrication, and things can get worse very quickly. So you have to just experiment with it, and this is totally at your own risk. As things can get bad. So you kind of pat it around, you kind of swish it around, and you do have to make contact with it because you essentially do need to clean it, but always under the lubrication. Never with dry, never with Windex. At least that's not what we use. You got to be careful with some of these cleaners because they will start eating the inside of the headlight lens or cause other issues. And essentially, this soapy mixture is going to require a rinse. You can use regular water. We always use distilled water, and this is ready to kind of be rinsed out at this point. So we fully, dump it into the sink that we have back here in the shop, and then you're going to want to rinse everything out. And you're going to do, top to bottom or one direction. That way everything fully rinses out, and there's no, there's minimal left behind, because distilled water is going to be very pure and clean, and you want to make sure you don't leave any of those residues behind. Otherwise, when you're blowing it out, it's going to be an issue. So we have a blower. You can use this is Metro vacuum sidekick blower. It's a small blower. You can use compressed air line, whatever you have. And also when you're blowing it out, you want to do top to bottom. So now we're going to take a look up to the light, and as I had anticipated, I don't even know if it got that much better. You can actually see where the where the towel kind of broke through, but this is going to require the next step, which is essentially a very, very light polishing compound. And then you're going to repeat everything. We're not going to go over the whole procedure here because this might take several tries of rinsing and washing. And once again, we start small. We're probably going to use a pad like this, just by hand, and a very, very fine polish, almost like a finishing polish. See if we can eat through some of that haze, and then we'll start dropping down to a little bit more abrasive polishes. But this is all going to be done by hand. This light is pretty large, but most of them, you're not going to be able to work a polisher into a lot of the crevices and corners of majority of headlights. This one's rather flat, so we could probably get away with it, but you also don't want to eat through the coating on the inside of the light too. So, hopefully that gives you guys a good demonstration of how to wash your lenses and what procedures and steps to take and some of the things you shouldn't do. If you guys have any questions,